former San Diego Charger, 12th overall pick of the 2005 draft. Shawne Merriman, how you been,
I'm
Shawne?
good, man. How you been? Good to see you.
It's been a long time.
About time you had me. I see you all the time. I'm like, can I get on Rich Show or what?
Well, now here you are. It's good to have you here.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Now with Bosa, what do you think's going on here? I mean, you know, there's the offset language thing,
Yeah.
and then there's the bonus thing, and then a lot of people are saying it's a Charger thing. What do you say, Shawne?
Well, I don't know if you remember, but I went through the same thing too. And mine was more of the injury clause, and if something was to happen, what was guaranteed, what wasn't going to be guaranteed, and I had to listen to my agent. You've been through it, you see how it goes, and I've talked to Joey Bosa before, and he doesn't seem like a guy who doesn't want to play football. He wants to be on the field, and I know he wants to be on the field. I got a chance to speak with him, but it's this injury thing that always seems to find his way to get in the way.
And so, we met him too. He reminded me of Gronk. He's got that's what he's got on the brain, football, and then on the other side of his brain is football, and in his body is football, and his heart is football. That's all he wants to do is play football.
Yeah.
So how's this going to end here? Because I mean, if the Chargers are just basically going to sit there and wait for Bosa to try and come in, and then they want trying to make an example. This thing may run into week one from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's possible, but it really doesn't help either side at this point because Joey Bosa is not doing himself a favor. And I'm speaking for myself. I mean, I had a lot of catching up to do when I got on the field, not just mentally because of the playbook, but, just changing directions in your football movements.
How long how long was your holdout? Do you remember?
I think I didn't come to until we got pads. We were full pads, and we were already in pads fan fest. We had the fan day. It took a while, and when I got there, I just wasn't in football shape. So it took a while to get my groins, and my lower back was tight, and just all these movements that you have to make in football that I don't care how hard you're working out during the off season, you can never get in that kind of shape. So it's not benefiting any side that he's not there.
So how did your thing resolve itself? You had to give in to what the Chargers wanted, essentially?
I think there was like a partial. I think that we came to understanding that if something was to happen, there was an injury or that I was cut or whatever the deal was, there was some part of guarantee that was done. I wish that wasn't there because it doesn't make any sense, especially now that everything is slotted. The money's there. That's not a problem. And look, I love playing for the Spanos family. I love the Chargers organization, but at the end of the day, it's business. And if a guy gets hurt, he has to have some kind of comfort level that he's going to be taken care of, that his contract is going to still be guaranteed, and they're not kind of going to dish you off or release you or cut you. And it's just not helping the team because not having Joey Bosa there, it disturbs that whole defense and what John Pagano is trying to put together over there. He's such a big missing piece of their puzzle that they have to change things up in the way they operate right now because he's not in the building.
Shawne Merriman here on the Rich Eisen Show. So how difficult would it be for Bosa to show up? Let's just say it looks like you're going to play a preseason game without him for sure.
Right.
Okay. Even if he shows up today, they're not putting him out there, I imagine, on this weekend, right? So what is he going to have? How steep is the learning curve once he walks into the building?
Well, it's not as bad, Rich, as a wide receiver or quarterback who has to get on the same page. I mean, there's all kind of timing things and patterns that you have to work out as a wide receiver to a quarterback or a quarterback to a wide receiver. As a defensive player, his biggest thing is going to be to be able to hustle to the ball, hustle back to the huddle after the play is over, get ready for a quick snap. If the coach is calling substitutions on and off the field, getting on and off the field, having your win there, and the learning curve for that position is not necessarily tough. John Pagano runs almost the same kind of scheme that Wade Phillips did when he was there. And when I came in and I didn't understand the playbook, I'll never forget Wade Phillips and John Pagano and Greg Panuski. They brought me into a room and they said, "Hey, rookie, see ball, go ball."
It kind of is that simple. Go hunt, right?
They said see ball, go ball. I didn't understand the playbook. I couldn't pick it up. It was only my second or third day there. They said, "We'll get you lined up, but we need you to go and make the play when it happens."
Shawne Merriman here on the Rich Eisen Show. So Von Miller's the best in the sport at this position. J.J. Watt, who do you got? Who's the best at this position right now in the sport?
Yeah, you have to say Von. and I'm not taking anything away from J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt is actually just one of my favorite players. He's just so dominant in so many different aspects of the game. The reason why I say Von is because he's a guy that you've seen in the Super Bowl. I mean, he showed up in big games, and he's so elusive in the way he pass rushes. And he's different from Justin Houston and some of these guys, because Justin Houston is a great pass rusher. His burst, his ability to turn a corner once he get up the field and get to a quarterback is amazing. Von Miller, you don't know if he's going to spin, if he's going to come up and come under you. He has the power to bull rush you at some point. J.J. Watt he's just a man amongst boys, right? He can just line him up. He's going to make a play. But Von Miller, he's just so scary because there's so many different parts of his game as a pass rusher that he can beat you with.
So who's the best team in the NFL right now? What do you got for me? For Super Bowl 51, Shawne.
You have to take Denver still, regardless of.
They have co-quarterbacks right now, by the way, atop the depth chart. It's Sanchez and Trevor Siemian.
Yeah, well, Peyton Manning, I think, only averaged about 233 yards passing last year, and they didn't have a big standout at quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think with that defense and how talented they are, you got a little wiggle room as far as what the quarterback is allowed to do. A quarterback in that situation don't have to come in and win every game for you. You can rely on that defense. You can make some mistakes. You can give your quarterback enough time to get in there and get a good feel for what's going on, and always have that defense on the back end that's going to save you no matter what. And that's what Wade Phillips preaches. You got Von Miller and Talib and DeMarcus Ware. Shane Ray, who we haven't really talked about just yet. He hasn't come on the scene just yet, but he will. He's another guy that's up and coming as well.
You mentioned Shawne Merriman, DeMarcus Ware's name. He was drafted right before you.
Yeah.
And didn't Parcells give you the look-see seriously, like made you think like you were going to have the star on the side of your helmet?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jerry Jones and Bill Parcells, they brought me in the room and said, hey, if you slip past, I think it was the 3rd pick to Cleveland, it was the 9th pick, I believe my hometown, the Redskins, they had a 9th pick. If you slip past those two, we're going to get you. So everybody in the draft room, which I rented a place out in back home in Maryland with my family and friends, had Dallas Cowboy hats. Everybody had Dallas Cowboy hats and jerseys because they thought I was going to the Cowboys. A.J. Smith, the general manager at the time for San Diego, told me the same thing. So I knew that if I didn't go 11, I was definitely going 12.
Mm-hmm. And then you went.
Then I went to 12 to San Diego, which is not a bad place.
No, I mean, Southern California works, and it worked out for you there. And now, so when did you get into acting? When did this acting bug hit you?
I was, because I played in San Diego, obviously, so I was close to L.A. So I kind of just fell into it because I was playing myself a lot in most things I were doing. And somebody said, oh, well, why don't you try to play this person? I said, okay, well, I know what film studies like. Mm-hmm. You had to go and watch film and just kind of scope out all the teams and scout other teams. So now you're watching film and scouting out like another character. So I said, okay, I know how to do that.
Okay.
And I did it. I enjoyed it. And, here we are. I have a amazing comedy series I'm airing on tonight called In the Cut on Bounce TV. And it's great. I get a chance to work with, Kalita Smith and Ken Larson and Dorian Wilson. My man Bentley, who directed it. He's been around for a long time. I got a chance to just work with some great people, and that's the fun part about it.
Now, would you not say, though, that you have already, before even getting into In the Cut or anything else, witnessed the greatest acting performance of all time, Shawne, on April Fool's, probably about 5 years ago.
Oh, man.
When a certain host of NFL Network walked up to you with what appeared to be a real press release from the National Football League saying that anyone who was going to have a sack dance in the field of play would be fined on the first offense and then suspended on the second or third. Was that the best acting performance you've ever seen, though, Shawne?
It was very Oscar-worthy. I will never really forgive you for that.
It's okay. Boy, we got you bad.
It was so bad. It was so bad, and it was the timing of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, like, they're doing this because of me. Mm-hmm. Right, the breaking news came in, and you slid me a piece of paper with the breaking news on top. So I said, "This is official."
You were in the middle of an interview for something else on the NFL Network. You were going through the NFL Network car wash, and I came and interrupted you without knowing you were on camera, but you were the entire time.
Yeah, I just knew for sure that they were trying to suspend that or targeting me for my sack dance, and the fact that I threw a lot of my teammates under the bus.
You're like, well, wait a minute, I'm not the only one who does it.
Right.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, it was good, and I never really forgave you for that. But
It's okay.
One day.
I know you swore at that time.
One day.
It's been many, many years.
Yeah.
These guys got me though. They
we got you pretty good. What was that? 2 April Fools ago?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was 2 April Fools ago.
There's a guy in LA that does a pretty good Morgan Freeman impersonation. So we had a Morgan in LA call in.
Just regular, just along with the rest of the callers. Yeah, Morgan in Los Angeles.
A 6-minute conversation with Rich, and Rich thought that it was.
We got to figure something out. I need some help here when I come back.
This is a great idea.
Well, what ended up happening was Morgan in Los Angeles called in, and it sounded just like him, and he was talking like him. And I thought to myself, it's April 1st. I'm not going to fall for this. But then I asked him, what was one of the first things he did for public television back in the early 70s, and he called Electric Company, and I thought, okay, maybe this is really him. And then I fell for it, and I was so just understand, I've been gotten to. Maybe not by you, but I've been there.
It wasn't as bad. This was classic.
This was great.
It was.
I think it's out there too. I think it's out there on the NFL.com. So seek it out. Put Shawne Merriman's name on NFL.com.
My gosh.
Let's take a break and we'll do one more segment with you.
You got it.
Law, what do you got something for Shawne Merriman?
I got a question for you.
Okay, very good. When we come back here, we got a little bit more with Shawne Merriman. Tebow wants to play baseball. You heard that?
What can he do?
Okay, that's next here on the Rich Eisen Show. Don't go anywhere. Back, guys. When Susie was doing the ABC Sports sideline reporting for several seasons, one of the first games she did was Maryland versus, I forget who it was. I think it might have been NC State or something like that.
I think Virginia, NC State,
right,
yeah.
Virginia.
Was it the fridge that ran away from her during the
No.
The fridge wasn't running anywhere.
But I remember Susie called me up. She goes, I just met this awesome kid who's just got a great story, a great background, and a great heart, and it was you. It was you, a Terp, yeah.
That was a long time.
You're one of her favorites.
That.
You're one of her favorites, which made me one of your favorites, which is why I threw you under the bus with an April Fool's joke.
I mean, you had to, right? Stuff love or what?
So what do you have for?
You mentioned the proximity when you were in San Diego to LA. That was one of the things you caught some flack for, was pursuing things off the field during your career. How did it play over in the locker room? Because now you see Josh Norman just signed a 10-day deal during the season. He's going to do interviews with Fox on Sunday.
He might even do it before games sometime. I don't know how he's going to do that.
So, did you have any flack in the locker room from fellow teammates, or was it more just front office stuff?
Yeah, it was. I caught some slack from the front office. I remember going over and doing some stuff with Fox and some other people when I was playing, and it just didn't sit well with the general manager, AJ Smith. And,
well, nothing sat well with AJ Smith.
Yeah, nothing sat well with AJ, but. That particular thing, it became almost like, oh, he's not concentrated on football. He wants to be Hollywood. I said, no, I'm kind of in the weight room before everybody. I'm in the film room last, and I'm leaving the building last. And I think the times are changing a lot now. And when I was playing, it was almost like, hey, don't do social media. Don't get on Twitter. Don't do this. Don't do that. Now it's like, hey, we want the fans to know who you are. We want the people out there to really understand and support our players. So now they're expecting guys to do more of that.
Hey, I mean, Len Dawson did local TV anchoring for the Chiefs back when he was in his Hall of Fame prime.
Your boy Joe Namath was interviewing Ali on the Joe Namath
Brandon
show.
Marshall just got nominated not once but twice for sports. For sports. I mean, the issue is though is when he drops a touchdown pass against the Patriots. Now everyone is like, well, if you weren't on Showtime, then you wouldn't be doing that.
Right.
But he balled out for the rest of the year, mostly. But you're basically asking for it when you do that sort of stuff. But you have to prepare for the next step. Yeah,
you have to prepare, and they're always going to look back for whatever happens and say, hey, if you wasn't doing this, you could have spent more time in the film room. You would have known this player, or you wouldn't have got hurt if you got rehab. I think that the guys now, you have to start preparing for your next career. And I don't know if I necessarily agree doing it during the football season or right before games.
Yeah, I don't know how Josh Norman's going to do that. I just don't. Maybe if it's a 4:00 game or a Monday night game.
Right.
So their first week is a Monday night, so maybe he could do something on that Sunday. I just don't know. Hey, look, it's great to see you, man.
Yeah, same here. Thanks, Rich.
It's great to see you. So everybody should check out on Bounce TV In the Cut tonight at 9 Eastern Time. At Shawne with an E at the end, Merriman on Twitter to follow this gentleman right here. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.